Good morning. Yeah.
Sanje Shedan Soje Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Lage Jezo Jebe Sunanje Dula Ben Sanje Du Barajo Chanza Wadan Jujin Shabadan Jeza Yeran Gushin Saw Kewa Junzen Dage Jeza Tamjen Dage Janjo Jengo Sajin Beje
Jujin Meto Tam
Sanje Shendo Medebu Rugun Namda Shinla Jo Barajo Yidam Radna Mendra Kone Yadaya Eme Simchen Namji Sambatam
Loi Chedra Chitarawa
Chijun Timu Tibu Chijin Kolo Gordos
Jigden Chekam Dinala Shecha Rikpe Ne Jaya Mambo Yabare. Tina said to Chuluk by Yabare. Large Lotontra Mambune Zambili de Gangla Rim Shinto Chir Shecha Lapor to Chuluk Tarabre. The Chuluk Bake Nane Ninjeta Swabatan Jimbala Sope Lamdon Yaboyore. So Chuluk Palangazu Kukur Chekobare. Tina Turab Nishu Sashi Camdella Ngado Droa Miki. Shecha Yonten Jangsulti, Marta Mandrava, Shecha Yonten Jayala, Tonang Cheru, Jayala Kokabia, Pusum Sopa Yore, Tinda Sonsa Miki, Namjuti, in Jurate Yore, May Semcambric, but in Jurate Yore, Narnashi, Se Chulupala, Tabata Yichite, the church, Droyore, Droa Miki, Semtela. 도바양 첨부, 짝바양 첨부, 독자당, 태숨당, 때 갈라야 시라 이대 매체게, 이대 지알라 갈라가고 차용요래. 대대 소상 도갑 사주바 감델라 저한테는 최대 직대 강양 로아질라 직배 잡아치고 와지. Rikpe Jeba Chakwa Tala Gabayore. Tesonsan Sanje Pechote Rikpe Jeba Chakore. Tongye Rikpe Jangne To La Te. Sama Tongpa Nye Te Rikpe Jeba Yabu Cheba Yina. Chokcho Chik To Tokore. Toksikin Tila Niyore. Ko Nyong Toksam. Dik Kapsula Kowa Tsam Yong Sikiri. Mato Kowa Yang Tapaji Yongwar Cheba Layang. Sosa Dipjan Koware. Laporte, sama tombani chema chishi gyulo tokor chuna, sosa dripchan yakbochi kware. Tap, sosa ki dripchan yakbochi meba yina, shirab sama tombani tokala khabore. Tire sonza, chok saksul, shimo shenya te kalchibore. Chok saksul, dipdit yangsul, shimo putabo shenya te kalchibore. Ngazo Sanje ba Jinju Tsoke, Chela Tonayare, Chue Chigire, Chue Chisul Yangba Chawari. Tapara Chue Chisul Yangba Chigenti, Gunde Kala Yobe, Sheta Watsoke, and then Sanje Beke Chue Donga Rishon de Jabala, Jamba Chisul, Putaku, Ship Sapo, Lodam Mambo, getting the Jamba Chek, Luxo Yodabari. Te deva gajin ke sanje chutin jitin kamla tanda pu takbo javeka chema pabi long chema moto rikpa chema chena ngajo ta tanda zambi lingde kana ne de yore ne de bate ta tanda zambi ni jarkap mabe miri na ba na chobe tonan che yore tonan 같이 che tela mebata jangba 같이 chene tiziki sanje ke chu dongade 자초만도 사박아 sabji ki 고된테 사로 뷰다로 제바 지름 때나 중어버 뷰 닭보지 여봐 얘는 해매베 중어버 간르지 얘는 Rinpoche ri kanri ju yaba ina, jeba cherim gu tar nukore. Le yaba ina, jeba cherim dur nukore. Teso za, jeba kazi jena ya, tejiki, sanjiki, choki, tene, taduk namshati, saru, 이 체로 메르 대바 체로 이치 체로 되네 너는 직접 카메라 셔자 연대 탐지 전난 풀도 좋아 내가부터 털도 내가 본 dum바자 마임 땡긴 dum마 두버쳐발 담배 추 코나 마도 신 강기장 땡긴 dum마 dum부터 봐 임베 인수 사고 셴도 그래 대시버지 셴그래 대시버지 잡발라 땅알도 덤발라메 산저로 뭐지 티다부게 subject 추 덤바보 라나메바테 산지 좀 된대리 대송이 추 된데 숨 주듯이 대공절게 땡주라야 되네 공절 돈 배 간전 용생한테 다 사차 잠불링 나네야지 지르단게 땡두게 세자 연된단 땡두게 가르쳐로 이 약합 야르튼 솔 삼로타나 배 간전 종바테 지류 타바도죠 얘나야 셔럽 남초 그걸 삼로타나 오늘 트라네 잠불리 디강라 풀도 좋아 체 초도 줄베기 되는 풀중게 세자 나한테 동안 이렇게 세자 창라 만들어 봐지 되네 다시 제라 내대요 말해 다 다시 제가 내대봤다 딱 나랑서 잠불리 미리 나 촉베기 들러 도망전 송접 작거라 송접사야 럽종 제 샤야도 말해 퇴섬 검섬 이야마로 난 거래 대 나와르 샤발라 다 당분 가랑서 군쇼섬 자베 군쇼섬 제 가진 쳔바다 자베 군쇼섬 그 연된 쳔바다 자베 군쇼섬 그 고송도 그 연된 랑크 줄은 죽고요 튼주와 샤발라 당분 검튼 디크 값을 덤바 토지 제수 쳔베 그 관에 되네 덤베 준설산에 되그래 어떤 데는 dordu적인 게 롱푸기 푸기
In this world, there are so many different things that we could study and that we can come to know. And in particular, among those various topics, one topic is the religion in general, different religious traditions. And in the past, thousands of years ago, many different religious traditions have spread in the world, and these traditions continue to flourish in the world today. And in fact, we can say that in general, among the different things that we could come to know, religions have been of benefit to people. Religions generally have taught love and compassion, have taught patience, and have led people on a positive path. And therefore, we ourselves should respect religious traditions generally because they have really led people on a positive path. But now, when we find ourselves in the 21st century, in the current time, in fact, it seems that our education systems have improved, and there are so many different things that we can learn and so many different things that we can know. And in some sense, then the opportunity for learning, for education, for improving our situation is better than it has been in the past. But on the other hand, what has happened also currently in the 21st century is that a lot of people tend to have less trust and faith than they had in the past. So this kind of lack of having a real stability, something to place their trust in. We find that many people in the modern day find themselves in that kind of situation. A lot of times in the past, people had a lot of faith in the Buddha Dharma or in religion in general. They had a lot of faith and they had a lot of trust. And that's changing these days. These days, when you look around at people, they tend to have more fear and more doubts and really a lack of something to truly place their trust in. We find that this is the case in the 21st century. And so in order to be of benefit to people in the world now, what people really like actually what people are really concerned about currently is coming to understand things through logic and reasoning. And so the path of logic and reasoning is something that people need, and it's also something that people like, that they're just simply attracted to in the modern age. And in fact, when it comes to the Buddha Dharma, we can actually come to approach the Buddha Dharma in that way. We can learn the Buddha Dharma through logic, through reasoning. It's said that it is easy, not so difficult, to establish emptiness by means of logic, by means of reasoning. And here, when we say establish emptiness or understand emptiness, there are different ways of understanding what we mean by understand in this context. And here we're talking about getting the idea. You can get a basic idea of what is meant by emptiness actually through study and through examination, through logic. When we talk about coming to really truly realize something, that's different. There are 3 different levels, right? There's first a conceptual and intellectual understanding, then a direct personal experience, and then finally coming to genuinely realize something. And we can, through reasoning, through logic and reasoning, come to have a conceptual understanding of emptiness, a general idea, but to really, truly even come to a very profound, sincere, full understanding of emptiness, even for that, actually, it's necessary that we gather the accumulations and purify our obscurations, that we gather merit. That's essential, actually. And in particular, if we want to come to genuinely realize profound emptiness, it's simply not possible to do that without gathering the accumulations and purifying our obscurations. This is essential. And we need to do so very genuinely, very authentically, and very well. If we want to come to truly realize that which is supreme wisdom, the realization of emptiness itself, this is something that's actually not easy to come to a full realization of. And so we have to gather the accumulations and purify our obscurations, but we have to know how to do that also, right? If we want to gather merit, if we want to accumulate merit, how do we do it? We need to know the way of going about that. We need to understand that in a very detailed manner in order to be able to do so authentically and genuinely. It's very important. Likewise, when it comes to purifying our obscurations, it's essential that we know very correctly and in a very detailed way the manner in which we need to do this. We have to know how to do it. It's very important. And the tradition of how to practice the Dharma, how to gather merit, and how to gather the accumulations and purify our obscurations, this tradition has been preserved in Tibet in the monasteries very, very genuinely, very authentically, in a very detailed way. These kind of teachings on how to practice the Dharma have been upheld, and therefore they remain in the world. And due to the kindness of the fact that these traditions have been kept and have been upheld and do remain in this world, due to the kindness of that fact, we are actually able to access the valid words of the Buddha, the valid commentaries that are composed by noble beings, and this valid and authentic reasoning that helps us to establish the genuine truth. This tradition still remains in the world. That's something that's so precious. And now it is the case that many, many people from all over the world, many different types of people, are becoming interested in these teachings, the teachings of the Buddha Dharma as they have been preserved authentically and genuinely in this tradition. And in fact, the more interest people have, the more they study, the more they come to learn, the more and more profound they're able to see that these traditions actually are. Because the tradition is extremely vast and extremely profound. We have the vast teachings and tradition of the sutras, and then we have the tremendously profound teachings of the tantras. This vast and profound Dharma remains in this world, accessible to us if we want to learn about it. And the more that we learn about it, because the thing itself is so pure, the more we learn about it, the more clear it becomes, the more precious we are able to see it to be. It's like that. If an object itself is really pure, if it's really excellent, if it's the best that there is, then the more you investigate and examine, the more its positive qualities become apparent to you, right? If something is truly perfect. If, on the other hand, something itself is stained or defiled, then the more you examine, the more you see the flaws. Of course, that's how it simply is. And since that is a fact, and since the Dharma itself is incredibly perfect, incredibly pure, then the more we learn, the more we investigate, the more we're able actually to see the perfect positive qualities of the Buddha Dharma. These presentations on the view, explanations of the view and explanations of the conduct and the practice, all of these become more and more clear, more and more lucid to us the more we investigate. And the more we learn the Dharma, actually, the more we trust the Dharma. Our interest increases as we continue to learn more and more because the Dharma itself is so pure. And that then, the more study we have, the more faith we have, the more trust and the more confidence we find in the Buddha Dharma. Because the Buddha Dharma itself is that which holds the most profound teachings, the clearest presentation on the way things actually are. And that wisdom which is able to bring about benefit for us, not just in a temporary sense, not just an immediate sense of benefit, but actually truly lasting benefit and happiness. This does come about through the Buddha Dharma, and in fact only through the Buddha Dharma. When we talk about coming to truly lasting ultimate happiness, it is only through the pursuit of the Dharma that we are able to come to this state, to know this state. And so sometimes we say a prayer, we talk about the unsurpassed teacher who is the Buddha, and we make offerings or praise the unsurpassed teacher who is the Buddha. And that's because the Buddha is the one who taught the Dharma. He taught the Dharma in terms of these, what we call the 3 Pitakas, the 3 baskets of the Buddha's teaching, the 4 classes of Tantras. The Buddha taught all of these teachings. And in addition to this, we also have access to the commentaries composed by learned and accomplished masters that elucidate the intent of the Buddha's own words. And these teachings have been preserved in the world. In particular, they have been preserved in the snowy land of Tibet. And because of that, because these teachings have been preserved so purely and so authentically and genuinely there, they remain in the world, and more people want to come to learn and to know about these things. Tibet, we can say, when it comes to modern things, technology, modern education, this kind of knowledge, Tibet's a little bit behind from that perspective. But when it comes actually to the highest wisdom, the highest knowledge that we could possibly come to know and to understand, that is preserved perfectly in Tibet. And there we have to say it's almost the richest source, actually, of that kind of genuine wisdom that is preserved in Tibet. The teachings of Sutra and Tantra, the Buddha's teachings, these teachings that are preserved so perfectly, fully, they're unmistaken and absolutely complete. Actually, nothing is missing. These teachings have been preserved fully and genuinely in Tibet, and now they are spreading more widely in the world. But the reason that they could spread is because they remained there. They have remained fully, perfectly intact, these perfect teachings. And again, more people in the world of all sorts are interested in learning more about them. They have an interest in the Buddha Dharma, and they want to really learn about the Dharma and come to uphold the Buddhist teachings themselves. And if we want to uphold the Buddha Dharma, we have to do this through an integrated practice of study, reflection, and meditation. We can't isolate any one of those aspects from the other, but we have to integrate our study, our contemplation, and our meditation. We need to acknowledge the kindness, the tremendous kindness of the 3 jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We need to remember their positive qualities and actually to bring about the qualities of awakened body, speech, and mind also within ourselves. That's what we as Buddhist practitioners must do. And so we follow then, in order to actualize those qualities within ourselves, we follow in the tradition of our teacher, the Buddha. And so there's a short practice, we have a short sadhana practice of Buddha Shakyamuni, and I'll give you a reading transmission for this practice.
Sanjay ke 송백이 담배 쳐대 에셰 롱바 라 찹디 여바레 벼주 단단데 벼주 나던데 맞아 벼주 나한테 받쳐게 지 노르부침보 지 노르부침보 렌탄다 잘 노르부침보데 단 잠벨리 용케 벼주 제고거래 잠리 미리 나나 촉인데는 도낭제요래 도낭 나와 나신 때에 퇴섬 검섬 이야 마탈바지 나고야 가르쳐 봐야 바래 마퇴베 찌신 마셰베 찌검 마검베 찌털 송아래 텐들렀다는 대 가르치슈 대 퇴섬 그셔라 대야들이 대야 퇴섬 셔랍 땡줄 들려 림바마 보여래 건데 칼에 예베게 셔다서 로람 망버링라 퇴섬 대 퇴섬 지술 때 따뜻 땡지 롱데를 빨리 뜨네 야외 까짬라 마도바지 어떻게 리베 기체반나 반다 촉바체데 로랑 망베 건들 라때 숑룩 동아가 숑룩 망보 자야 그 룩지요래 대라 퇴섬 따위로세 때 갈침 버지래 다제 감대로 쉬어야 돼 건바 맹아 글로세 건바 맹아 글룩세 때 가서 니 되네 아 직소 슈게 저런 소토를 저렇게 가서 말아서 관계 섬에서 남사 jar거 대라 퇴서 맹아 글룩스 퇴바 치기 섬에서 남사 jar거 퇴서 맹아 글룩스 소아래 대 손바테 진라 퍼웰로스 라마 똑바 초된다 로마 다 가르쇼로 너데 원사 저원 달라 장바첨 조사급장 원저 소대바 셔랍신도 놓아 다 진짜 갈데레레 레레 일라데 저산 따베 로다 관만 맹아 그 로라바 라소발 때 마고바 대 질라 퍼웨 로 살라맹 게 춘이지네로 저서 가실을 때는 어때네 로병 어트밤 다짤을 때는 어때밤 책대 달라 마트발을 때네 또 이시침부 냐브라 샥 잠지 또 이시침부 공부 때 잠지 라로 공부 니스메베 종외교 로르주 남자 무슨 참말 예 바르데 tento는 신도 컴퍼리 대소서 다른 간준데 세미나르데 조사 맹악 로이 대소서 나라서 관계에서 썸을 수자고 그래 나라야 썸을 자기 전화주 둘을 자로 나가서 썸을 자로와 있나 근데 대섬 이야 맞아서 용어를 텐들 때네 땡가서 심주도 돌려 그래 tö다 시신 돌와 퇴신 아주 시신 돌아차로 셈 퇴성 그 셔라 퇴성 그 셔라 그 심주도 돌려 tö다 시신 돌와 돌신 셈을 주 잘신 건딱 녀몽 총아 타나야 메다 되셔 쳐담지 메딱 바래 임베 인술도 야야 셈을 주 잘나 셈 돌려 그래 라싱가 돌려 알자단 댄섬 럼섬터 타도 라서 비근도 또빠 네바트도 라시 그마 네바트마 카티 온 거야 텐델 때네 검닥서 검세도 전다 마블 줘래 인식 민식 검스는 쭉쭉 제 장발 거고 말해 검스 솔로 따이들 검스 다음에 때네 녀몽 총아 영어래 메타 받삼 공부할때 녀모는 네바자야 대 맛에 잠는지 장주 쌈샤마지 줄을 짠다 녀모바 그또 그것도 또배 야차나데 야차 두주 막 같이도 이나야 잡았대 당신 말이 빠데 마빵기 빠데 레뇨 추난기 잡았대 식메도 그래 텐델 때네 딱 사모 동반이암 다 다 샘지 내로 세인데 갈좀 봐 임비 좀 센테리 텐들 때네 텐데 시절 사주고 시대 때네 단다 젤은 나초로 한도세 캐션 트리버 완주 침복기 송 대도 강가 송 대도 강가 gomba menga ko luk tar tu chen de so sha ba sha da re de ngar ji ngarang ki zawe lama choken de pe ma se be ke chidun pu su so yo re shin de la sha na chang ke chu she chen na pen ba sha ra yong ro so do de ngarang la sha ra pen ba chung te so zo de nga zu gang ga le pen ki re sam ne shi di de ya ta in chi ke la so ba jur yo re dorjin de di shi le sha ne de shu ge di ngen te la ta long shu bar che ba la tobalame sanjurum boche chobalame tamchurum boche drabalame gendurum boche javi conscious the culture bare javi conscious the garazo to the nabakod chen china ka parchi sevar chabala sanje bijinju choke inji minchi champro de yang de ko culture bare tene champro de ngazo sanje bichik de ngazo den de ko yo de ba zam mai ba te de 원에 단에 자비 건쇼스 거 연대한테 시행 거도 연대한테 인지 매치 시행 거도 연대한테 같이 시행나 대지게 대파펠 그래 연대한테 야부 마시나 대파한테 카좀 측상 맞도 영어 말바지 장비 gen장다고 좀 맞아 그네 탁반에 대파도 영어 말해서 산재기 연대 최지 연대 견두지 연대 자유 건쇼스 거 연대한테 가르쳐 버려 대소서 차라서 말아서 강가텔 장바차고야 돼 가르쳐 보도라 대산지기 진주 여도 좋게 또바 투지지 않게 일 템베 거네 아주 덤베게 준셔티 인지 미치 실례샤 티강라서 소소가 간정 가려 지게나 대 제쪽으로 제고를 맞도 또바도 술 받던 신지 네베세지 제라 소바 대신 되네 파부게 계속게 라마초게 라소바 텐데게 라 뜨네 준치 테코네 제바테 그 자원도부터 라도 자원도부터 덤바레 소소 덤바 투지쟁게 준치 테 땡이 롱지 동이 okay I'm little saying too much yeah good I'm very exciting 저는 강가 돈낭 첨부 저는 맥거라 돈낭 첨부 저도 돈낭 가지 채나 디지갱 얘기 깨져 다시 야라도 저는 돈낭 총으로 저는 나야 돈낭 짜는데 표정 갖고 버차도
I'm, you're all listening with such interest, and the more interest you have, the more excited I am about teaching, and the more interest you have, the better and better and more perfect my words will come. So if you're really, really interested, the words will come really, really nicely, and if you lose your interest, the less and less and less and less. And if none of you have any interest at all, then I think I'll just become mute, actually. So please be interested. That was a request from me. Please be interested.
Actually, I'm very fortunate because I met those greatest teachers one after another. So that side, I feel I'm very, very grateful. But at the same time, what I need to gain, I not got it. So I feel bad. But who I met is living bodhisattvas, living realized master, one after another. So, even if my realizations so, by my words are good, because I'm repeating. So trust me.
The Buddha Dharma, the Buddha Dharma has spread in the world, in particular throughout Asia, throughout many, many different Asian countries. We find the Buddhist teachings have spread and are preserved there. And in particular in Tibet, when we think about the presence of the Buddha Dharma there, this is actually, it's like the jewel, the gem of the Tibetan people, the Buddhist teachings. It's something that has now become an object of interest for other people outside of Tibet in the world, and something that can bring about benefit to other people in the world. But it's really the most precious thing, the most precious possession, we could say, of the Tibetan people, their jewel and their gem. And if we want really to engage with that and to train in that in an authentic way, then again we must do so in a way in which we integrate study and contemplation and meditation. Those three aspects must be integrated. It's essential that we don't try and separate them out one from the other. Because if you haven't learned anything, how could you know anything? And if you don't know anything, how could you possibly meditate? And if you don't meditate, how could you be liberated? So we have to begin with learning something, actually listening to the teachings. And there are many different ways of approaching that method of learning and receiving the Buddha's teachings. But no matter which approach we use, study and reflection is actually quite important for us. It's quite essential. So one method of approaching the Buddha Dharma, of learning the Buddha Dharma, is the method that has been preserved in the monastic colleges, the Shedras. And in this method, actually, one spends years and years and years studying the Buddha Dharma, not just relying upon the words of the Buddha and these kind of Buddhist scriptures, but relying also upon logic and reasoning, one's own intellect, one's own logic and reasoning, examining these teachings using logic, using logical syllogisms, different kinds of arguments and supports and refutations and so on, using one's own, the sharpness of one's intellect. And this method is one that involves coming to actually resolve the view over a period of many years through logic, through examining, through logic and reasoning. And this is what we call the view of approaching, or the approach of studying and reflecting upon the view. That's one approach to the Buddha Dharma. The one that we are using here, the approach that we're using here in the context of this seminar, is the tradition of training in the pith instructions. And in this tradition, the way it works is I will give some teachings, and you should receive them and apply every single word of the teaching directly and personally in your own experience. That's how it works. We receive these words and we actually apply them directly. I will apply what I'm saying, and you should also do the same. This is the method of training through pith instructions. It involves study and contemplation as well, but what we're receiving and what we're contemplating are the pith instructions. And this tradition is one in which everything that we hear, we should right away apply directly and personally to ourselves, to our own experience. That's the method here in this tradition of, or this approach to learning the Buddha Dharma. And then there's another, which is called the tradition of the transference of blessings. And that is one in which a master, a guru, who has the supreme realization encounters a disciple who is fully qualified. And that qualification basically comes down to the disciple being someone who has already gone through the training of gathering the accumulations and purifying his or her obscurations. So in previous lifetimes, for example, the student has already prepared him or herself through gathering the accumulations and purifying obscurations, and whose intelligence, whose wisdom is incredibly sharp. So there are a few such really fortunate disciples, and when that kind of disciple meets a genuinely realized guru, then the other traditions or other approaches to the Buddha Dharma are not necessary. It's not necessary to follow the approach of studying and reflecting upon the view, nor is it even necessary to follow the approach of training in the pith instructions. But rather, through the transference of blessings, it is possible for the student to come to a realization that is identical with that of the Guru. It could be that the Guru uses simply a few words to point out the natural state directly to the student. It could be that the Guru uses some kind of gesture, some kind of symbolic gesture. Or it could be that he or she does not speak a single word and does not even make a single gesture, but simply through composing, through the Gurus composing themselves within the natural state in meditative composure and directing their wisdom mind towards the student, simply through the Guru doing that, it is possible that the student could come, a really truly fortunate student could come to a direct realization of the natural state such that the student's realization is not different from that of the Guru. There are accounts of that happening in the past, true accounts of that happening in the past. It is something that is possible. However, it's something that is extremely rare to have that kind of circumstance. Here we are again in the seminar following the tradition of training in the pith instructions. And again, the way of applying this method is that I will give these teachings, share these words with you, and you should apply them directly to your experience. I will apply them to myself, and you should apply them directly. And in this way, we have to remember that our study and our contemplation should not be isolated, right? It's not that we're studying one thing and then contemplating separately from that and meditating on something separately from that. These things have to be integrated. And when we integrate our listening to the Dharma teachings directly with personal contemplation and putting these teachings directly into practice, then what happens actually is that our mind becomes tame. That's how it works. The mind is tamed through following this method. It is said that the sign of having listened to the teachings is that we are more peaceful and tame. That's the sign of having really heard the teachings. As we hear them, the more and more we hear these teachings, if we really take them to heart, the more we hear, then in fact the more calm and peaceful and tamed our mind becomes. And that only happens, though, if we actually apply those things that we hear directly into our own personal experience, directly to our mind. It is also said that the sign of having meditated is that the negative emotions are reduced. We have fewer negative emotions. And in fact, this works even through a simple contemplation, through simply training ourselves in the thought that all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. Just that, actually, just that contemplation, just meditating, if you will, applying directly to our own experience this fact of the impermanence of conditioned phenomena. Taking that to heart makes us more tamed. Taking that fact to heart reduces our pride, it reduces our jealousy, it reduces our competitiveness, it reduces all of our negative emotions just very naturally. They fall away when we really truly take to heart the fact of impermanence. And so sometimes we talk about meditating on impermanence. The word meditation can be used in many different ways, and one way to understand that actually refers to a type of contemplation. Contemplating the fact of impermanence is, in some sense, a type of meditation. Thinking about the fact that all of these things, all conditioned phenomena, are impermanent. If we train in impermanence in that way, if we meditate upon the fact of impermanence in that way, our minds become tame. Our minds become more and more tame. And if we train in this way through contemplating, for example, impermanence, love, compassion, and so on, in this way we can truly, through this type of contemplation, reduce our negative emotions, maybe 70%, right? We can get a lot of the way there, but not all of the way. Because if we want to completely eradicate all of our confusion and our ignorance, we can't do that without getting to the real root, which is ignorance, which is the ignorance which grasps and clings to a self, ego clinging. And until that's totally and fully eradicated, we will still remain in a world in which we're subject to karma, in which we are deluded and caught up in the afflictive emotions, until we fully eradicate that root, actually, of our ignorance. And in order to do this, then it's essential that we come to a realization, a genuine realization of emptiness, a genuine realization of the nature of mind. That's why this is so important, actually, to come to that kind of genuine realization, because without it, we cannot fully bring to a collapse our ignorance, our confused and deluded experience. And so for these teachings, this seminar, as the sort of basis for the teachings, I'll rely here upon a text by Tseli Natsok Rangdrol called The Heart of the Matter. Tseli Natsok Rangdrol is an extremely learned and realized master, and his teachings are incredibly profound, and they follow precisely this tradition of training in the pith instructions that we'll be applying here in these teachings. And so here, these words are so excellent, so perfect, and the meaning of the words in this text, again, are so excellent and so perfect. This is a text that will be of tremendous benefit to us. I've received these teachings from my own teachers, and I myself have found them to be of great benefit for my own practice, and so I feel sure that it would be of benefit for you as well. The text has been translated into a number of languages that you know. And so in this way, this teaching on the heart of the matter, I think, will be beneficial for you. We'll use this as the sort of basis for the seminar here. But now, first, I want to give you a reading transmission for the practice of the sadhana of Shakyamuni Buddha, the daily practice. And, often we praise the three jewels. We talk about the unsurpassed teacher, who is the Buddha, the unsurpassed protection, which is the Dharma, and the unsurpassed guide, which is the Sangha. The three jewels, we need to remember the positive qualities of the three jewels. That's really essential for us as practitioners. Because if we want, as a practitioner, to clear away outer, inner, and secret obstacles and to move forward in our practice, we need, of course, to take refuge. Refuge is essential for us. And to take refuge in a genuine way, we have to know about the positive qualities of the three jewels. We have to, as Buddhist practitioners, we have to recite the verses for refuge. We have to take refuge. But if we do so without being familiar with the positive qualities of the three jewels, then it becomes just like repeating some words, and we don't really mean it, actually. We're not really taking it to heart. We can't do that unless we really understand these qualities of the three jewels. And the more that we know about the positive qualities of the three jewels, then the more and more our faith grows, the deeper and deeper our faith will be. And so it's very helpful for us, actually, then to know about the positive qualities of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And in order to do that, we have to learn them. We have to learn these things. As Buddhist practitioners, as followers of the Buddha, we have to train so that we're able to practice in a genuine way, so that we're able to understand and to recognize the positive qualities of the three jewels. And when it comes to knowing the positive qualities of the Buddha, one important way of recollecting them and of really training ourselves in this way to think about the qualities of the Buddha is to do a regular daily practice of Shakyamuni Buddha, like this regular daily sadhana. This should actually, as a Buddhist practitioner, this should be the foundation of our practice. And then on top of that, we can do any kind of other practice. But if we put the Buddha to the side, if we sort of sideline Shakyamuni Buddha and then focus on the teachings of his disciples, these great learned masters of India and Tibet and so on, and we just sort of sideline the Buddha, then we're really missing the root, actually, the root of the Buddha's teaching. So it's very important that we keep that root, that we keep that sort of fundamental aspect of the Buddha Dharma, which is, in fact, the Buddha, right? The Buddha, the teachings that came from the Buddha. So to do a practice of Shakyamuni Buddha is very beneficial. And now I will give you a reading transmission for a short daily sadhana for Shakyamuni.
Tuje Rinpoche Sala Derde Sambara Nawara Shu Dela Ka Sambara Chuvechun Sanju Choda Sochi Chonola Chanju Parto Tani Jepsi Dagi Jinso Jibu Swanam Jentrola Pencha Sanjan Trobara Shu Sumcha Samja Dewa De Deve Juda Dembarsu Dongar Dongar Juda Travarsu 동안매배 대화 담바도 미래월 주니에 사당 여다 잡아 땅좀 첨발한 내버 주르지 아 제메 동반이 됐던 종게 나와 감에 손주 주메서 란도에 나만 가란 주제 장소 렌제선제 변전대베데 담바 초매 샤자 생게네 서레제 도제 천대베제 주거 소모 솔로도르제 제로 쇼샤에 산느 차자레 장신 차윤 냠샤 두제 용세 나바서제 르다시제 바바 이제와즈라 타베 카인 차바니베세 제데 조조소 하소 장소 코르제 용고르 템바자메제 시시 다니엘레 남도 대와초가 빨졸로와 장군 데베다니 전부 살라 닌제 전부 조대님이신 손에 말람 전부 가져다 베가라다랑 전도 철매도 동바투제절로 찬살로 다시 고스모 계속 롱주제 고산 주베된데메네 도메네사 대동 말레바 니네 잡아잡고 소소로샤 바다 소소 제브 개와네 도소마 살라 제소야랑 삽제 자주주 콜로 소로 초주로 주메 제바라 꼬로도 소레 첸다는 과다베이식 도소마 본저를 매바쇼 메제 돌로제 나오로 제제 솔로도네 장 쫄베 송야 따도 나와란 다그 도소사베 계소제 가자번 도와 콜레 펠레도 조제자보 따도 니지 조제자베 공반도 버쇼 다자님은 도안 고면 너도 잘하버서 가데 신다 되는데 렌제 남서만제 나와 신이 치제 틀렌지 대체 잠조 소매 직보로 예제 대변인의 솔로 대변나 원제 담자 전부 만절와 장주와 버도 도지제 라마도 좀 되게 드시셔 봐다 좀 봐야 더 봐도 벌써 좀 빠르자와 시게 더 봐 찬살론 추대 잡서 제오 대야도 문문의 마함문의 소하 돈베콜이 시조서 나소베 나와침베 다다 심전탐제 제바탐제 설제 대바침베 람제연데 술신도 제데 칠메도 사면브라 조로제 개완도 인yor도도 소바삼전도 전은 로와치 점말 대살랑 거바라쇼 대셰서 제군제 투제 단자바 말라마 천제 네베 소로 라메 예제 준도 천다와 대다 코너 도군 지로바라쇼 나란소 산제 추철라 투섬 감숨 제고하리테 약보지 용고하래 텔레테 가서 처럼 오면에 랭에 디립 기바 바차게 뉴베게 랭에 데게 바차게 뉴베게 바치 망보여래 중시체 바치 장로 난게 바치 진도 섬지 바치서 바치 설버 쳐발라 초주 쳐봐도 바치 설신 내내 박시 시 터투 공부 염침이 셔럽게 벌어지셔 봐도 요도 똑바로 쳐발라 내내 지금 표준 수업한테 내내 실친근도 되래 실친근도 나는 닝보다 왔다 셔럽게 벌어지신 비실 닝보 셔럽게 벌어지신 비 닝보 생한테래 네 롱주동이 돼 가면서 가르쳐 버려 대양 아주 양양 되나 괜찮나 그 바르지세 살람 그 똑바 쳐버지 줄을 쳐발로 두지도 전랍 삼피면 잡아요.
We followers of the Buddha Dharma need to study the teachings, and we need to contemplate them, and we need to meditate in a very genuine way. And one thing that stands in the way of our being able to do so is our previous negative actions, our previous negative karma, and these kind of habits, actually, that we have accumulated in past lifetimes towards negative actions. The strength of that can act as an obstacle that gets in the way of our being able to practice the Dharma, to study and practice the Dharma in a genuine way. And so when we do practice and study and practice and contemplate the Dharma, we encounter obstacles, outer obstacles that are connected with the outer elements, the four elements, the inner obstacles connected with the winds and energies and essences, the channels and the winds and the essences in the body, and then also the subtle body. And then also we encounter the secret obstacle, which is clinging, grasping, fixation of the mind. And so we need to clear away all of these obstacles, the outer, the inner, and the secret. And we need also to quickly come to a genuine realization of the mother of the 4 types of noble beings, who is none other than the perfection of wisdom, pragya paramita. We need to come to that genuine realization. And one wonderful method for doing so is found in the sutras of the perfection of wisdom, the Pragya Paramita Sutras. These, not just one wonderful method, but these sutras actually teach the wisdom that we need to come to, this genuine perfection of wisdom. The essence of these teachings of these perfection of wisdom sutras is found in what we call the Heart Sutra, which is sometimes called the essence of wisdom. And so I'll also give you a reading transmission now for the Heart Sutra. It's a very profound and very important practice. It's very helpful for us actually to recite this sutra again and again, and to train in this practice so that we can clear away our obstacles, and so that we can come to gain a really superior and perfect realization, moving through the paths and bhumis that lead to perfect awakening. There's a lot of blessing in this sutra as well. So now I'll give you a reading transmission for this, the Heart Sutra.
Jagarake do Bhagavate Parya Pare Medar Hidaya Bhegadu Jumden Mashar Japarada Shimbi Ningbo Pambo Cheko Degadake Tobatu Jumden Jabe Kaba Chago Pomboara Ganoke Kindu Chamboda, Sanjusabe Kindu Chamboda, Tabje the Shukte, Te Jumden the Samana Shicha, Chuja number, the thing in the line of shoes. Yante, Chanjova Samba Samba Jaba, Papa Jeres, Anjo, Sharavija, Parodo, Chamba, Same, Jabanela, Nabarata, Pumanga, Teta Laya, Aranche, Tombara, Nabartao, Tene Saji, 2, Chatamba Shari Poo. Chanjosa Basamba Juba Papa Jeresawan Jolan Degaje, Nes, Rage, Po Kala, La Sharja Baroda Jamba, Samajaba Jabba Te, Sidara Labarcha, Degaje Nevada, Chanjosa Basamba Jaba Papa Jeresawan Joke, Sadata Share the Dibble, and Degaje Nes, Share Po, Rigi Puam, Rigi Papa Kala, La Sharja Baroda Jamba, Samajaba Jabba Te, the number of our Chade, Pubong of Tedaja. Ranshi Tombara, number Yantabar Jesutao, so Tombao, Tombani, so Tombani Shemai. Tombani la Jasusha Maino, Tesh, the Torodan, the Jedan, Abarshabana, Tombao, Sharibu, Tedara Chutam, Tombanite. Sini Meba Majeba, Magaba, Tima Meba, Tima, Tangato, Chua Meba, Kawan Meba, Sharibu, Tedavena, Tombanila, Sume, Torame, Dujime, Number 7 me, Nawame, Name, Jeme, Lume, Yeme, Sume, Dame, Teme, Rome, Rajab, Chumedo, make it come, maybe nature come, Agent number 7 come to Pardoya, Medo, Mariba, Saba, maybe Gashmi. Gash Sebe, Pardoya, Medo, Tejo, Dongalwata, Goinjota, Gobata, Lame, Isheme, Toba, Matoba, Medo, Sharebo, Tedavena, Sanjova Sambana. Namala Toba maybe Cherry Sheraja Paroda Jambala thinking that the similar Diva maybe Tapa made the Chingelo Shindu Dene Island of Tarajendo, Teosum number of Sanja Tamja Sheraja Paroda Jambala Ten Lana maybe Yantaba Zoba Chanju to Oberzo San Jesu, Tedavena, Sherbaja Paroda Jimbenga, Jabajimbenga, Anabenga, Memada Yamenga, Northam Jara, Shavar Jibenga, Mejunda Bene, the Bershabarja, the Sheraja Paroda Jimbenga, never dead. Gade Paragada Parasangade Bode, so I Sharibu, Chanju Samba Saba Chimbu, that the Sheriff Jabberton Samba Samola Labrachao. Tenem Jumden, the thing is the Shade, Chanju Samba Saba Jabo, Papa Jeres, Anjula, Lexo, She, Chavachin, Lexo, Regepo, Tation, Chedara Church, the Sheriff Jabberton Samba Samola. Jabar Chade, Tajan, Shabanam, Jasayarango, Jumden, take it, Jakatal, Sedan, the Bashari, the production Joseph Jeres, Wanju, the Tamjed, and Bekorte, the Ladam, the Lama, the Research of Around, and Jumden, the Jasumbalang to Papa Sheriff, Jehoru, Chimbening, so Sanjala Jobso, Chola Jobso, Kendula Jobso, Yamachama Sheriff, Jabarota Shambal. Chalo 산절라 차절로 줘라 차절로 겐둘라 차절로 염점을 싫어지 바로도 좀발라 차절 나기 댐베치는 로버츠 제대로 세원 뭐 제진시 싫어지 바로도 좀 돼서 뭐 일어서 가져도 잡을라 땐 뉴대절라서 매주에 초탐지 싫어도 봤대 대신도 나게 짱 염점을 싫어도 바로도 좀 돼서 뭐 일어 30 가져도 잡을라 땐 do dejala sobe medebe chotam je che dobro che mebro che shor rab de shor chor je kange de jen do ro kaba meba je meba chaba meba dam o meba ro meba tade de me de je me troba ni je do zoba sanye na nam damba de la chan sa lo palden dor je lamone dhamo singke dongba je ije me oso singke dongjen lamoro de akasamara ja shadara samara e pe 칸로 마싱기 동바지 추지랭아 데베 투더네 발레 때네 나저바 다작 바 다난저바 다자 파르세메바 나저바 다자 코다 잡나라 다워르치베 다 너버치베 게 버르데 잡전 돈나타 메시베 초랭에 바담 쳇도버 조르제 다 단다 교수시라면도 이나야 좀좀 전락된 좀 아주 잘지인데 냠버 더두시샤 then short break for tea.
Yes. So we don't have a lot of time now, but let's just do the practice of the Treasury of Blessings, the Shakyamuni Sadhana together now. We'll just do a short accumulation of the mantra, not so many, and then after we finish this, we'll have a short break.
Deva so surjam pada so zjeve gewani tezazam ajezo yerangom saje jaje jeje golezo jojo jemejeba kurdozom jene dabe yejegu tezobo jurme bar shumeje dojana ngurjeje sodejan Trebezonya dado na warzum Daigende zazaibe gezoye Kajadro waigana penedum Jeje jabo dado nyejeje Jeje jabe goba tobarejo Daja nyemendrowa gemenam Doje lab zove kandele Shendo de renje nazanje nawaje nyejeje trelenye Deje jajozome jeboru yejende benyene sodena mwenje dajajembo manyewar Janjo bardo jezenze lamazamba jondende jejaba rajamba yandai barazo bezanjeba jawa Shajado bala jazalo jado yazaje lama damba jondende jejaba rajamba yanda banzo beza Jajado bala jazar Jedo jazo jewo lamada Jondende jejaba Rajamba yanda barazo beza Yavai jajado bala jazalo Jedo jazo jewo
Short break. Short break.